morning. We are just arriving in Tate Britain Museum to cover the new art exhibition of James Turner, one of the most important British artists, with exhibition covering almost his entire career. It's called Turner's Modern World. He got a lot of influences of the Industrial Revolution, so let's go with me. One of Britain's greatest artists, Mallord William Turner, lived and worked at the peak of the Industrial Revolution. Steam replaced sail, machine power replaced manpower, political and social reform transformed society. Many artists ignored these changes, but Turner faced up to these new challenges. This exhibition will show how he transformed the way he painted to better capture this new world. This landmark exhibition will bring together major works by Turner from Tate and other collections, including the Fighting Temeraire 1839 and Rail, Steam and Speed 1844. It will explore what it means to be a modern artist and his lifetime and present an exciting new perspective of his work and life. Come on with me. This exhibition explores Joseph Turner as an outstanding painter for contemporary life, spanning his early architectural drawings from the 1790s to the paintings of steam power in the 1840s. Turner lived through revolutions, the Napoleonic Wars, the violent expansion of empires, and the abolition of slavery in British colonies. At the same time, industrial development saw the construction of canals and brought machines to the workplace, while steamships and railways transformed travel, and the artist brought all those elements to his artworks. Turner began studying at the Royal Academy in 1789, the year of the French Revolution. His studies contributed little to his modern outlook. After France declared war on Britain in 1793, the British government cracked down on political activism. Many artists were sympathetic to events in France, not necessarily drawing political themes, but Turner was observing the world he saw around him and started painting contemporary subjects. Glimpses of modern life appeared in Turner's early watercolors of picturesque landscapes and historic buildings. Like in this watercolor imaginary landscape with Windsor Castle on a cliff and a distant plain, presenting a prosperous industrial England that demonstrates the benefits of peace at a time of increasing hardship and shortages. Turner had a mentor who painted contemporary art, including industry and battles. His name was Philip James de Lotheboard. Take a look in all details of this Turner's watercolor, depicting Wolverhampton Annual July Fair, a small town 2 hours from London. The scene is filled with incidents including theatre, waxworks, wild animals, food and drink vendors. And about this impressive one, when in January 1792, the 16-year-old Turner witnessed the fire which destroyed the Pantheon Opera House on London's Oxford Street. I'm not the only one who's in this situation. Turner depicts industry helped support Britain's role in the French Revolutionary Wars. Like these watercolors show workers forging cannon in a foundry. The exhibition is organized in 8 rooms. In the third one, we can tell how the theme of war and peace affects Turner's work. He seized the opportunities the wars gave him as a painter of modern history. He depicts conflicts that took place as far afield as Egypt and India, and British victories in the Napoleonic Wars, such as the Battle of Trafalgar, which took place in Spanish Water in 1805. The Battle of Waterloo on 18th of June 1815 saw Britain and Prussia defeat France, and in the Napoleonic Wars. Turner visited the site in 1817. He filled a sketchbook with drawings, took notes from guides, and read Byron's verses on Waterloo, adapting them for his pictures. Turner lived through an intensely literary age. His poems, book illustrations and collaborations with poets, writers and publishers reflect his modern interests. He saw painting and poetry as complementary. He exhibited pictures with fragments of his own poems or quotations from other authors. Byron was Turner's favorite modern poet. He illustrated Byron's life and works for the publisher John Murray and painted 6 pictures citing Byron's long poem Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, like this one illustrating the city of Venice where the poet lived. Britain was at war for most of the first half of Turner's life. His paintings and watercolors of this time show an awareness of how Britain and its population were affected by overseas conflict. They include pictures of coastal defenses against a feared French invasion, but also the setting of rural laborers against the background of Windsor Castle hints the vast inequalities in British society. Slavery was a major part of the British economy. By the start of the 19th century, it's estimated that Britain has transported 3.1 million people from Africa to the British colonies in the Caribbean, North and South America and other countries. The personal fortunes of some of Turner's early patrons came from slavery. Turner also sought to benefit from it. In 1805, he invested £100 in a proposed cattle farm in Jamaica to be worked by enslaved people. Other patrons were opponents to the slave trade, like Turner's closest friend, Walter Fawkes. Perhaps with Fawkes' encouragement, by the later 1820s, Turner had converted to the cause of abolition. Turner wasn't an overtly political artist, but he became increasingly liberal during his lifetime. His works contain more references to progressive causes than any other painter of his time, including freedom of expression, religious toleration, and abolition of slavery. Steam power was the most conspicuously modern feature of Turner's lifetime. It was used in industry and applied to locomotion in the 19th. Steam reduced journey times at home and to mainland Europe. Steamboats became common British water in the 1820s. Turner used them regularly and often painted them, like here in this artwork Tower of London, or in this watercolor named Dover. In the center, a packed modern steamship charts its course under mechanized power. Turner was the first artist to bring railway mania into the arena of academic oil painting with this picture of the Great Western Railway. The subject matter of many works from the final years of his career shows Turner's continued interest in modern life. In addition to paintings of steam technology, he mediated on the legacy of Napoleon's rise and fall. By the end of his career, modernity was not limited to Turner's subject. He had also transformed his style and practice, and probably he contributed not only to the formation of new painters, but also to the configuration of a freer society as we have today.